Hey there everyone, 8is80 here once again with another game of StarCraft 2. This will be a Protoss versus Terran here on XelNaga Caverns, and it will be from the European servers. Spawning first in the bottom left will be the Teal Protoss. His name is Mekar. He is actually ranked 22nd in the Gateway Kappa division of the Masters League with 205 wins along with 199 losses at the time of casting, which does equate to a 50.74% win rate for our Protoss. His opponent today will be the Red Terran. His name is mTwNaruto. He is ranked 106th in the European Grandmasters League with a record of 159 wins along with 132 losses, which is a 54.64% win rate for our Terran player. Once again, these players are going to be playing this game here on XelNaga Caverns, one of the most popular maps. And while these players set up their bases, some people have been asking me why I seem to only be doing games that are less than 15 minutes long. The main reason is because YouTube is silly and won't let me upload videos that are longer than 15 minutes, and it makes me have to just kind of split the video up into 2 or 3 parts. And while that isn't too difficult in itself, another thing about YouTube is that they enjoy not letting me upload videos when they are split apart because there's some errors happening and I have to fix it every single time, and it's just super annoying. So I kind of just decided that I wouldn't cast a long game unless it really showed itself to be epically awesome, and then it would be worth it. But short of that, it really wouldn't be worth the effort. Until YouTube decides to finally be a nice person and let me upload videos of longer than 15 minutes, I will probably be limiting myself to only be uploading videos that are shorter and sweeter. And you know what? That does mean, unfortunately, that these games will most of the time not last very long. But hey, look at it this way. If there is a video that is split in 2 parts, it's probably going to be pretty super duper awesome, because that's the only reason why I would go through all that trouble. At any rate, looking at these players' faces, we do have the Protoss player opening up with his gateway, so standard opening for him, while the Terran player has just now gotten his barracks starting to make a marine, and we did have the Protoss player use his probe to kind of be a butthead and attack the SAV who was making this barracks, because of course if you lose the SAV who's making a building, you have to assign a different SAV, because as Terran you do have to actually take a worker and build the building you want to make. As we have the Terran getting his first marine out and is going to get this probe killed off as soon as he's able to catch up to it, as the probe deciding to be a little bit of a butthead and kind of just try to juke the marine out. Oh, he's going to be, no, not quite. He is going to lose his life. So little probe does eventually die to the marine, as often happens in most games. We have Naruto actually getting a second command center pretty early in this game, so we'll see what he decides to do with that, as the cyber core just now got warped in for Mekar. So he is going to get that warp gate researched right away, very well timed by him. We have an SCV coming up here and seeing that indeed the Protoss player is doing pretty standard play, getting that gateway into Cybercore, going to be chrono boosting out a Stalker, so we might have some ideas of early aggression as he is getting his units out quite quickly. We'll see what he does, and also they're rallied all the way up here, so we'll see if that works out for him, and Naruto will throw up a bunker just to bolster his defenses and make sure he does not get overrun by the early pressure that might indeed be coming from Mekar, as this one Zealot has come all the way up to Naruto's ramp and will poke its head up, but be shooed off by these 2 Marines, shooting it in the face with some lead bullets. So that Zealot will take some shield damage, but be content to head on back to this watchtower, kind of just set up camp and wait for its buddy, the Stalker, to arrive, as we see a 3rd command center going up for Naruto. Did not see that coming whatsoever, as he's going to be opening up with the ever-popular 1 Rax 3 command center opening. Just don't see that, I guess. Anyway, we have a 2nd barracks also going up for Naruto. He has a SCV just kind of chilling down here in the bottom right, going to be having a little party by himself down there. We have a bunch of probes queued up for Mekar. He's going to be getting a couple of buildings right here. That is the 2nd gateway along with a robo facility as well. So he's going to be going 2-gate robo here at his primary base. We'll see when he decides to take that expansion, as Naruto would be able to take the expansion at any point he wants to. Once this orbital morphs in, he'll actually have access to twice as many mules, and if this command center actually decides to be an orbital as well, he'll have triple the mules all inside his main base. So we'll see where he's going with this. As the 2nd barracks is about to finish, he just now started to build a factory as well. So the Terran player, also the Protoss player rather, is going to be chrono boosting out 2 observers, it looks like, and also does manage to take out the scouting SCV. So that will free up Mekar to kind of go crazy if he wants to, with no more scouting SCV in his base. He's free to tech up however he wants to without fear of his opponent being able to scout it out immediately, as that 1st observer has spawned and the 2nd one is now going to be spawning as well. So Mekar is playing it very cautiously, getting 2 observers out before anything else comes out of his robo. So we have Stimpak just now starting underway for the Terran player as well. This bunker might get salvaged rather. Savaged would be unfortunate for the Terran player, but he's going to be getting a second bunker down here. So he does have thoughts of expanding here at the moment. This observer will shortly be arriving at the Terran player's base to see just exactly what is going on, and what he'll see is a basically city of orbital commands. 3 of them just kind of chilling right here next to one another. Also, there's a factory built, not making anything at the moment, and that bunker does indeed get salvaged right as the observer gets there to see what's happening, as the command center is now going to be flying down to the Terran player's expansion. At the same time, Mekar has gotten his expansion up as well, about halfway done warping that nexus in, as well as getting another gateway up in his main, along with a robotics base. So he's going to be getting some Colossi out, it looks like, which is very standard play, as his observer did see. The composition for Naruto is primarily ground forces, marines, and marauders, as both these tech labs are churning out combat shields and Stimpak respectively. So those will be both about halfway or a little over halfway finished right now, as we see 3 bunkers going up right in front of the natural for Naruto. So he's playing this pretty safely, as we have Mekar rallying his troops all the way around the outskirts of this map. That is 3 sentries rather, 1 zealot, and 3 stalkers, also getting a proxy pylon up there as well to warp in units closer to the front. This nexus just now finished warping in, as this orbital command has landed as well, and we see the power of Terran getting triple the mules, with all 3 of his command centers mining this main base out as quickly as possible, just as Mekar gets his units up here from the back. So these bunkers are super sad right now because they protect from attacks from the front, but these protest units decided to swing around the entire map. And this one bunker will be able to do its job, as it is able to be placed well enough to attack units coming from up here. So now the Terran player realizes that he does indeed have a backdoor that is not quite as well defended as his front. So he will be scrambling to get, it looks like, a couple of supply depots up there, trying to get something in the way of defense as this factory is flying down to the low ground. He does have a starport, probably with that reactor just for some medevac play, trying to get, there they go. Medevacs for the MMM build, going to get marines, marauders, and medevacs, as this Protoss army is going to be poking its head in once again. And this supply depot is super sad, as actually it will survive with 3 hit points. So well done, supply depot, but then it will be cancelled. So unfortunate for him. But now we have force fields going off. Nicely used force fields will force the Terran player to pull off these workers. Otherwise they would be able to get sniped. As now the Protest player is happy enough to resign his units to attack 1 more supply depot, but it does look like he left it with enough hit points for Naruto to repair if he so chooses, as now these units are getting back into mining. The Protest player's expansion is also up and running as well, now getting close to fully saturated, so well played by him there. As we do have a pylon warping here just to provide vision behind these dead trees, I don't know what they actually are, but behind these thick shrubbery, just so he knows if his Terran opponent wants to do the same exact thing as the Protest player just did. And now we see Naruto actually flying the factory over there, as he, of course, in this build does not need that factory. So instead of scouting, which is what you'll sometimes see a Terran player that decides to go a build that doesn't need a factory, he'll fly that over to the opponent's base and scout with it. Naruto has instead chosen to block off his back door with it. So well played right there, very creative, very interesting to see that happen, as we have both blink and thermal lands happening for our Protest player. So he'll have nicely upgraded stalkers and colossi up shortly, as he has 2 more gateways warping in. So he will shortly be on 5 gateways along with a robo facility, just churning out colossi at the moment. We have the Terran player destroying these gold rocks, as we see Terran often is more comfortable taking this gold expansion than his counterparts Zerg and Protoss are, because he is able to put up that planetary. But it does look like he's going to take that original 3rd orbital command and land it there, so it will be slightly more vulnerable to attack from Mekar, but we'll see if Naruto is able to hold it off with this pretty nice army right here. Let's see just what is comprising this army. It is 12 Marines, 2 medevacs, along with, it looks like, 12 Marauders as well. So very nicely balanced army for him right there. A good MMM build, as this probe is about to be super sad and also super dead, killed off very quickly. The Protest player army, meanwhile, does have 1 Colossus in it, along with a handful of Zealots, Stalkers, and Sentries. So if the Terran player attacks right now, he might be pretty comfortable. We'll see if he decides to move out. His orbital command at the gold expansion is just now getting underway, and he's dropping down mules right there as well. And one thing about Terran play that does seem counterintuitive at first, or at least it did to me, is that you want to drop your mules at your most or least defendable position, which is also your most vulnerable expansion, just because you want to mine that out as quickly as possible. I apologize if that seems like fool's play or seems like common sense to higher level players, but just for those people who are not quite as familiar with the game as those players would be, You do, as Terran, want to drop off your units, your mules rather, at the least defendable position, just because the sooner you can mine this out, the sooner you won't have to worry about defending that expansion, as we do see some dropships, fully loaded dropships. It looks like a couple of Marines and a couple of Marauders in each, going to be swinging around trying to see what they can do as the main army is moving as well. So a very nice two-pronged attack happening for Naruto. We'll keep an eye on these drops as well as watching just what happens here in the main, as these drops are just happening right here in the back of Mekar's main. He does have a couple of stalkers positioned nicely, but they won't be enough as these units are stimming up and going to be taking out this pylon, possibly this Twilight as well. It did finish Blink, so it's not a huge loss if he does indeed lose that building. More units moving in and also warping in. That Twilight Council does go down, and Naruto decides that is enough for now and will load most of his units safely. It looks like he only lost one single Marine in that harass, as the Protoss army has taken this opportunity to move in and attack the Terran player's main army and was able to fry away a couple of Marines and Marauders. So the Protoss player decided to counter the drop play by attacking the Terran player blob that he knew was there, and it does cue Naruto to move his orbital command, as it is not a planetary fortress, so it would be difficult to defend, and he decides to cut his losses and actually lift off that orbital and move it away, as these dropships are dropping these units off just to heal them fully. And over here we have the Protoss player, 3 Colossi in this army, not enough Vikings to deal with this at the moment for the Terran player, and this orbital command is so lucky as he's able to escape the ire of these Protoss players' units. And it looks like the Protoss player has actually gotten a 3rd Nexus on the way. There's one Marine here going to be taking potshots at it, as it looks like Naruto has decided to take his 3rd at the safer 3rd as well, moving it back to the gold expansion to that safer normal expansion. The Protoss player destroying the gas refiners that were up at that gold expansion. It looks like the drop play might be coming back into effect, as there's nothing back here to defend for Mekar, so he's going to be attacking the natural expansion with his entire army. That's going to be doing some damage. We're going to watch this while keeping in mind in the fact that there is a drop happening in the Protoss player's main as well, as these Colossi are doing their job so well, frying away units, but it looks like Marauders are folks firing every single Colossus down, as there was one Viking on the field doing its job as well. And it looks like Mekar actually did get taken out. His Protoss Death Ball over here was handled very nicely by Naruto, who was able to take out all of those Colossi, sniping them with Marauders, and that one Viking, that one hero Viking, able to take out a Colossus. It only has 1 kill, but that 1 kill is a Colossus, so very nicely done by Viking over there. Just looking at the aftermath of this drop, it does look like these probes were in serious danger of going down, and all of this was undefended, as Mekar decided it just wasn't worth it to come back and defend. Tried to muster up his forces to one final attack, but just was repelled very nicely by Naruto. So well played by mTwNaruto here, able to take this game pretty handily. An excellent clinic shown on how you play Terran versus Protoss. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will probably continue to cast, see if time allows. I'll have to eat soon. But anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. See you guys there.